Branner. Today I'm going to show you how to play Romeo and Juliet. Slowed it down a lot, listened to it really closely, made up a tab that you can get on my website. There's a link below. Download that, it's free. While you're there, check out my awesome new guitar book. It will help your playing, I promise. Anyway, so get that, take a look at it, and then we'll just kind of break into this thing. So first thing, you're going to capo your guitar up to the 3rd fret. Before you do that, I would tune to open G tuning, which is D, G, D, G, B, and D. You just have to take care of strings 6, 5, and 1. You'll drop them all down, so it'll sound like this with the capo. Right? So it still is open G tuning, even though the 6th string is D, because the 3 notes in a G major chord are G, B, and D. That's a major triad, right? So now we have D, our 5th, G's our root, D again, G another root, our B, right? That's our 3rd, and then our 1st string's A, D as well. So we get a nice G chord there. So the chords that make this song are pretty simple, and if we think about playing it in a certain way, it won't be that hard. So first of all, the way we play our 1 chord or our D chord is we bar across the 2nd fret 5 strings. 6th string needs to stay open. Right? So our ring finger goes in the 4th string. At the 4th fret, our middle finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and our pinky is going to go to the 4th fret of the 1st string. And that gives us that voicing of that triad. It's really nice. So in the key of D major, which is what we're in, this is our 1 chord. Our 4 chord is going to be G major. Our 5 chord is going to be A. So the way we do, if this is G, open G, there's our 4 chord. By barring this up, there's our 5 chord. That's the great thing about an open tuning, right? You can make any major chord you want to. So we've got D major here, we've got G major and A major. You want to know those chords well so you can kind of get the idea of so you can get that kind of feel before we put the melody over top. Now that you got those chords, I'll play this for you really slowly. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we put this right hand together to make this kind of melodic thing happen. So the first thing you do is you play the outside voices, right, of that D major chord, which is the 1st and 6th string. And what you want to think is 2 little phrases. You play the note, states the chord, and you go up. Boom, 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 bum, 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 bum. And the way I finger it is I like to use all my fingers, but I play the little roll, thumb, pointer, and middle on my right hand. Right? So it's dum, da, da, dum, and then 1, 3, 5. Now this is important. You want to on going down, when you go from the 1st string to the 3rd to the 5th, you want to connect that melodic line into this bass note, so you hear da, do, 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 ba, ba, boom. And so we land on that bass note. That's going to recur through this. And then we get this nice little, and I take my pointer finger, you can do your middle finger, this nice little down up strum, and what I'm doing is just kind of shooting my pointer finger down and then bring it back up. So we have, make sense? We move to the 2nd chord, outside voices, and then we play a little arpeggio rolling up, and I like to roll that arpeggio in my right hand with, I begin by planting my ring finger on the 1st string and my thumb on the 5th, pointer, middle, ring. That's just a nice way to roll an arpeggio arpeggio being a chord played 1 note at a time. They move to the G chord, and here's what's cool. When we hit to that G chord, the first thing we play, we want to play that bass note, but the bass note's not there yet. This is important, and you can see it in the tab. It's playing, the bass comes in on that 2nd beat. It's pretty cool. Up, boom, arpeggio up, and then back down again. Up, down we go. Right? So that little idea, right, that takes us to the end of the phrase, to this little tag at the end. You bar on your pointer finger at the 2nd fret, and you're going to hammer on your middle finger at the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. to the first string to the third string. Now that hammer-on, make sure when you do a hammer-on, it's a quick snap. Here on my middle finger, you can almost hear it hitting the wood. It's speed, not strength. I've got my middle finger really close to that fret before I start. Right, you don't need to move a lot. You don't need to do this. You can stay nice and close. Right, and that'll give you the sound you need. The further away you are as you're preparing a hammer-on or a slur of any sort, the bigger chance you have of missing, and you won't get that nice, accurate, like slap right on your fingertips. See, it looks like a hammerhead. That's what you want. Now the second time through, we start the same way, and then we arpeggiate through this pattern. We play all the way up to the first string, and the way I do it is I grab my thumb for the bass strings. I like to play it that way. And this is where it gets tricky. Once you hit the first string, you pull off, right, the opposite of a hammer-on from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret, right of that first string. And this is a place you might want to really pay some close attention. As I pull it off, I'm going to hit the 4th string. Right? And I'm pulling off everything there, because what I'm doing is I'm transferring to that A chord mid-arpeggio. So as I pull off with my pinky and everything else, I hit the 4th string. So there's a little bass in there. Right? That's a little tricky, because what you're doing is as you're pulling off this first string, you're plucking the 4th string. That's always a tough thing, especially if you're new to playing like country blues or stuff like that, which you use it in fingerstyle all the time. Then we go to the next part. Pretty simple. The second time through, just so you know, in that intro, everything's the same until here. That pinky's going to play that little melodic line. It's in the second line of the music. Right? No big deal there. So the big thing here is getting comfortable with your right hand, knowing the chords, knowing when to do that pull off and that hammer on to kind of give it that snap, and to get that nice little light strum with your right hand pointer or middle. So I wrote out the chords are pretty simple for the verse, and I wrote that out in a chart. The only thing that we haven't talked about so far is playing the 6th chord, which is our minor chord in the key of D major, which would be B minor. Well, B minor looks like this, right? Well, since we've tuned this string down, we got to bring this guy up here, right? So it comes across the 1, 2, 3, 4th, 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 and then the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So even though you're in an open tuning, it's really good to relate it back to what you know, which is how this worked as a standard tuning. Let me explain it one more time. This is what B minor looks like if we're in a standard tuning. Since we dropped this string down, right, 1 whole step or 2 frets, we need to move this note up. These 3 strings, we didn't change anything, right? So we're just going to bring this guy up. Everything else looks the same. It's kind of like a B minor chord with just with the bass note moved up 2 frets. Also, the root, the 3rd, and the 5th of B minor is B, D, and F sharp, right? That's the 5th. So what we've got here is the first string open is still a D, so that's part of our chord. So it's really nice voicing of B minor. That's the only thing you really need to know. So anyway, hopefully that helps you out. The rest of the song is pretty easy to do, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.